am Tommy Carroll, and I get to hang out with Zach Myers of Shinedown, man. Good to see you, man.
Tommy, good to see you again.
It has been a minute. Actually, not too long. Back in June, we saw you up at the Soaring Eagle Casino.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a fun night.
That was a great show. And I got to say, you guys are only doing those handful of dates.
Only 12 shows last year in all, yeah.
That had to be a joy. Almost like a residency with days off.
Yeah, it was cool.
Coming on all that rest, and being fresh.
Yeah, it was really, you know what, it made you like realize how much you still love doing it because like you're away from your guys and you come back together for a weekend and just do a couple shows. And so, yeah, that first one, that was like June, the beginning of June.
Yeah, the first week of June.
That was a good one for me. I needed that one for sure at that time. That was just to play a show felt great.
It was great. And Brent, man, he was on fire too.
I think we all were. It felt, good being back on stage. That's always a fun place to play too. It's it's outside. If the weather's nice, you're all good.
Oh yeah. It's a fantastic show though. You guys are coming to Van Andel Arena. That's April 28th. Now you guys are definitely at a much higher level than back in the earlier days. Yeah. And when you put together a Shinedown show, I know it's music, but how much are you guys involved in the production side of things and maybe the pyros and the lighting? Do you guys get involved in all of that? I mean, because this is your baby.
I've designed all of our shows since 2018.
Wow.
With a guy named Mitch Schellinger who helps me do it. And he's a brilliant designer. I'm a guy that draws stuff on a paper plate. But and Brent does all the pyros. Brent does, that's like his thing, and I do the show, like the lighting, the video, the stage design, all of it. So I am in design hell right now currently. The design is done. So if you look at Ticketmaster or whatever, you can see what the stage looks like. But yeah, we're working on video content right now. We kind of got a late start on that, so everything's kind of like, all right, I've been busy every day working on that stuff. So every day I'm on the computer, I'm on the phone. I've been working a lot the last month for sure.
I think a lot of people don't realize just how much goes into this stuff. People just think just snap your finger and it all happens. And
no, when you're, there's tons of bands that are like, this is the designer, and they just sit back and they come in the day before and look at it and go, all right, yeah, everything looks good, or change this. I'm involved in every aspect of it. I'm from the initial stage drawing, everything.
It's got to feel good, though, too, and especially to have that pulse on there, too, because you know your songs. You know how you want those lights to do, and you know when they want the fire to blow and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
I mean, again, making a set list now is impossible.
Can you believe it? 20 number one songs, and soon to be 21, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And then, 32, number fives?
22 number ones.
22 number ones. My bad.
I always feel like the biggest douche when I say that.
No, don't.
22 at one chart and 20 at another, and I think it's 30-something singles now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's 32 or 34, something like that.
That number I don't know anymore.
But I was thinking, 32 top 5 songs. That's
insane.
They can't play all the songs in one night.
Can't even play all the number ones. Really.
No.
I mean, because, Brent has those moments where he likes to talk to the crowd, and he's very good at that. So it's you got to give him a couple of those moments because that's what the crowd loves. But it's and also, he can't sing 22 songs. He's not up there just piddling around. That guy's using his full voice on everything he does. So playing 22 songs is very hard. We usually do about between 19 and 20. That's kind of our sweet spot. And that's a 2-hour show. So we're giving you a 2-hour show every night. So, but picking songs now is everyone's wow, it should be easy. You got all these singles. I'm it's not easy. It actually makes it harder.
Because you're which fans do I make mad tonight by not playing this one? For the while, we've been pretty much skipping anything from us and them. Sometimes we'll throw a Save Me in there. Every great once in a while, I'll Dare You. I've been trying to put Heroes back in the set for a long time. It really depends. And again, we keep releasing more singles, so it gets harder and harder to make a set list for sure. I remember seeing the first time I saw Shinedown. It was the very beginning. They were out with Van Halen, and I didn't know anything about Shinedown yet. I go to the show, and I see and I hear Brent sing, and I'm going, who the hell is this? I was so enamored by his vocals and just how he goes after it. And like you said, it's got to be hard to sing those songs. They're all up here. There's no easy Shinedown song. Everyone hopes to have a singer like that, but there's no easy ones.
No, there's no. And I think we've taken 2 or 3 and dropped him down a half step at this point. Just because it's I don't want to kill him. You know what I mean? It's we're not 21 years old anymore. So we have some that are dropped down a half step, but none lower than that. But also, like, we're not writing songs in like A or B either on guitar. Like, our songs are mostly in standard. So it's like, that's a hard thing to sing when you're singing that. His singing is so guttural and it's so just full voice. He doesn't have a falsetto. He doesn't think he does. He'll tell anybody, he's like, I don't have a falsetto. I'm like, you probably do. But so everything he does is full voice. And it's like, man, that's really hard to do night after night after night. And me and Eric are singers as well. So that helps out and we can fill it in. And we've had nights where he'll literally look over at us and be like, you got
finish
this?
The
And he'll go low.
Yeah.
You know, where Eric's got a great singing voice, so Eric can go high, super high, so he can do it too. But yeah, it's good having 3 singers in the band that can kind of help him out whenever he needs it. And there's definitely nights where he's needed it because we've been doing this a long time.
But that's what a real band does. When the singer steps down, a couple of guys can step up, finish the sentence, especially if somebody gets a cold.
We did a show in Screenville, South Carolina, I think it was, where we ended up having to cancel Knoxville the next night, which was Brent's hometown, which sucks. We were playing his arena that he always wanted to play his entire life. We ended up making up the show, but in Greenville that night, I mean, he got through 2 songs and looked at me and he was like, I lost my voice. I can't do it anymore. So basically we just told the crowd to sing, and like I would sing time. He's going to tell the crowd. And he wanted to stop the show and come back and redo it. I was like, man, we can do this. We can get through this one. And he did his best and the crowd sang for him a lot. It was a really special moment.
You know, that's something that I've noticed at all Shinedown shows, ones I've been at and ones I've just seen on YouTube and stuff, is you guys have a huge connection with your audience. And of all the bands I've seen, I've never seen so many people sing literally every single song. And that's got to be the hugest compliment when you're on stage and you look out and 10,000 people are singing your words back to you.
It's incredible, man. It's this thing where I feel like we're connected to them and they're connected to us. It really does feel like a big family. And when we're hurting and we're going through something and writing a song like 365 or something, like they can feel that. And so I tell people all the time, like, I have the greatest job ever. Like, you know, you look at an actor and they get to make this role and be in this character that really kind of like shapes people's lives and maybe changes their lives, but they don't get to be in every theater and watch everyone's reaction. Like, I get to be in front of people and like watch it live and like watch what a song like Symptom does to somebody and what it does to me on most nights. You know, I don't know if I've ever cried more on a song than Symptom. And on the last tour for 2 years, it was happening at least once a week, you know, for stuff that I was going through in my own life, you know.
That's a beautiful song, by the way. Thank you. Acoustic guitar, what did you use in the studio on that particular song?
Taylor. And Eric does this thing where he plugs it in and mics it at the same time. So that's kind of what that for that song specifically.
I meant to ask you that when I saw you at Soaring Eagle. I had to know.
Live it's a Martin. Yeah, I'm using my Martins on everything. So but I have there's a lot of things going on. I've got like different pickups that you can't really put in a guitar. Yeah. A lot of weird specialty things happening there.
Okay. But it was amazing sounding.
Thank you so much.
And it's such a great song. And if you don't mind me asking, why is that one so personal for you?
I just think I suffer really bad from anxiety and panic disorder. And so like that sometimes in a room when I don't belong and the house is on fire and there's no alarm, like, you know, I feel like that a lot, you know. I've had the last couple of years of my life, I've had a lot of things happen where it kind of made me feel that way and very strangely not feel connected to anything, but also feel connected to everything. I don't really know if that makes sense, but that's how I felt for a long time. And, you know, kind of crawling my way out of it in the last little bit is helping a lot. So like you look at a song like 365 and it's the same thing, you know, you kind of have the same vibe.
That's another song too that I remember I saw a video. Somebody sent me a video. I think it was Brent and Eric did an acoustic version of that song somewhere in Florida or something. And all of a sudden I get a copy of this live version of the song. And then over the next week, I got people hitting me up all over the country. Have you heard that new Shinedown song? I knew that song was going to be something for it to go viral before there was even I don't even know if it was recorded yet. But
no, it was recorded, but we had never played it for anyone. So it was just the acoustic version. Yeah, and it was like, I didn't think that either. I wasn't sure. You know, that's so out of the realm of our comfort zone. We don't ever really play songs before they're out. Yeah. And this is the first time we've ever we've never released songs before a record's done. The record's not done. Yeah. Like we don't have a record yet. We're working on a record, but we just wanted to try it differently this time. You know, it's a new age and I love these kind of like, you know, Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen, these country guys that'll just like throw up a video of them playing their new single in their house before it ever comes out. And it's like, wow, that's, we're in that day and age now where like, it doesn't matter that this whole surprise shock value thing doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? Music, there, 200,000 songs released a day or whatever it is. It's insane. So, you just got to do it how you do it and do it what you feel is the right way. And I think for us, like, we're going to play this acoustic show. Why not play this song? Let's see what happens. Let's play these people a song that they've never heard, that we've never played. And it's crazy that it caught fire as much as it did.
I've never had one do that before in this day and age.
And I was good. I got real nervous because like that's not what the record sounds like. I was like, played acoustically, it sounds good, like a real quiet song, and then it comes in, it's like it's almost got this like 80s kind of like John Waite thing to it.
Yeah, it definitely does. But man, another great song lyrically and musically.
Oh, thank you.
You guys have something, man. You guys tap into it at every record, and it just never gets old. And you guys surprise me every time too.
Thank you. I think it's just for us, we never go, let's write a rock record or let's write a ballad. It's what is the best work we can do? What's the best song we can write? And that's kind of for me the best thing to do. Like when you sit down, if you can walk out of that room saying, I did the best work that I can do, I'm happy. That's all I need for me. You know what I mean? Like I don't need much else. So if I can do that, I'm good.
Well, you guys nailed it with that one. I was talking to you before we even started recording. I believe we're going to be playing that song forever.
I thank you very much. I hope so.
Oh, we will. We will.
I hope so.
Now, speaking of things changing and stuff, Shinedown was a certain beast before COVID hit, and then touring and everything. What was it like before COVID, and then what you guys do now? What if things have changed since we've gotten past all of that? Because things are different now.
Nothing really. I mean, we don't do meet and greets anymore. That's kind of and honestly, like it was at first, it was easy to kind of blame on COVID, but truthfully, I had a lot to do with that. I don't have an emotional barricade. So like what would happen is people would come in and you got these people that are really stoked to meet you. And then you got people that are there for everyone's there for a different reason, right? So I would go up to a family and like maybe they had a kid and their kid passed away from cancer or something. They'd be like, I had a 6-year-old son. You guys were his favorite band. Like I have a 6-year-old son. So like I would literally start shaking and like texting my wife underneath my hoodie and being like, take our kid to the hospital right now. Just make sure he's okay. All these things, right? Just kind of like full panic mode. And then you go to the next guy and those people just want to share their story. Yeah. We changed their life in a way and that's so special. But then you go to the next guy and he's just there to have a good time. Like he's wanted to meet you his whole life. And it's like, he's like, man, I can't wait to see you guys. And I'm like,
you're still getting over the last one.
Like I cannot. Yeah. And so I think at the last year that we were doing them, I don't remember. I probably walked out of like 9 of them. Just walked out, didn't do pictures, and it wasn't to be rude. It was like, hey man, like I'm an emotional person. Like I and it sucks. Like, but we're still like if I meet people, I love it. It's just we don't just do the formal thing anymore. Like it's if you see me anywhere, please come up, talk to me. I would love to talk to you and take a picture and sign whatever. It's just like the formal meet and greet thing. We just stopped. That's really the only thing we stopped doing since COVID. Okay. But everything else is kind of the same.
Well, I have to apologize because I've been guilty of bringing a few of those folks to come see you guys.
It's all right.
But I always told your manager ahead of time, hey, tip them off so they know this, because we even did that at the casino.
And usually they do. And here's the thing: you can't prepare for how your emotions are going to be evoked in that moment. There's days where people tell me those stories, and I'm like, man, I'm very sorry to hear that. And I think about them. I pray for them that night. Yeah. But then there's days where it puts me on my knees, man. It's like I do wish there was a part of me that could just go, I'm sorry to hear that. But I don't know. That wouldn't be me. I wouldn't, if I didn't have a heart as big as I do, that wouldn't be who I am, So I'm glad it puts me in the grave sometimes, you know what I mean? Like it makes me sad. That I think that can be inspiration too, to realize that everyone has a fight. Yeah.
You're living.
Yeah, absolutely.
It shows you're living. And I will say all the times that I have taken people to meet you guys have been one of the most gracious bands to the listeners. And no matter if it's been a positive or they want to tell you a story, you guys have really hit it out of the park every single time. And I want to say thanks for that.
Thank you, man. If you get to do this job for a living, and you feel like you have the right to be an a-hole to anyone, you don't belong here. That's just how I feel. Like, we have the best job ever. So, I'm going to be nice to everyone. Listen, man, I've got my days like everybody else. I miss my kids. I'm having a rough day. My anxiety's on 11. But I try to take myself out of body on those bad days and just at least smile and shake someone's hand. But man, dude, to complain about having to meet people in this job, what is wrong with you? Dude, I tell people this all the time. I am doing the job that I would be doing if I was homeless in that alley across the street. I'd still be doing this. But the fact that I get to get paid for it and have a great life and take care of my family and my kids and my friends doing the same thing I'd be doing if I was in that alley homeless. What do I have to complain about?
Well, you've been playing. I mean, when did you start playing guitar? This has been a lifelong thing for you because I think you were pretty active even as a teenager.
13.
Wow.
I started. I got a guitar when I was 12, and when I was 13, I started playing, and then I got a record deal at 14.
Wow.
And it happened it all happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. I've been doing this for 26 years.
Yeah, I've seen you prior to Shinedown. I think, weren't you teching for one time for Saliva and then wound up playing bass for him or something?
Yeah, I've known those guys since we were very young. So when they were still Blackbone before Saliva.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, I remember I was teching for Saliva and Dave was having a baby. It was 2003, 2004. Filled in for Dave. Shinedown came out and opened for Saliva. And then we did some Shinedown Saliva 3 Doors Down shows. And then at the end of 04, 05, Brad, our bass player, was having a baby and was like, hey, man, can you fill in for me and do this? And I was working by that point, I was working for 3 Doors Down as a guitar tech. And I went and filled in for Brad, our bass player at the time, who's actually in Saliva now.
It's really crazy
of roles.
How that changed.
And so it's funny because, the last show of that, we were in Tampa, Florida, and Brent walked up to me and said, he goes, you can't leave. And I was like, I got to go back to my job, which is guitar tech for 3 Doors, which, by the way, paid me way more than Shinedown at the time. Just FYI. And he's like, you can't leave. And I was like, you have a bass player. I'm not taking anybody's job. He's like, yeah, but you're not a bass player, you're a guitar player. He's like, we need a second guitar player. This new record's going to have a lot of harmonies on it. And this is when they're in the process of us and them. And I was like, man, if it's, you need to make sure it's okay with everyone else. Because I'm not trying to and honestly, I loved my gig with 3 Doors Down.
Yeah.
It was so easy. And Chris Henderson was one of my best friends. So basically, I don't think he asked everybody in the band. I just showed up to rehearsals one day. And a couple people didn't look stoked about it. But that was 21 years ago. I'm still in the band now. I left for 3 months in 2006 from July to October. And then that was only gone for 3 months.
Well, I've seen every version of the band, but I didn't see that moment where you played bass. I'd heard about it, but I didn't realize that you had still played with Jason when he was in the band.
Oh, I was in the band with Jason for 3 years. I played bass with Jason in the band, and I played guitar with Jason in the band.
Yeah, I never saw that version. I saw that when Nick came in. And when Eric joined and then Nick Perry was playing, I saw that version, but I missed that little gap in there.
Yeah, there was, all of the back half of 2005 through all of 2006, I was playing guitar. And then, so it was me and Jason on guitar. It was the original band plus me on guitar.
Yeah.
And then before that, I played bass. And the only thing I think we did around here, we did do the Detroit State Fair.
Yeah.
In 04, 05. But yeah, we didn't do a lot of shows around here in that time, I remember.
Well, I worked with you guys a lot when I was down in Indiana. I was there for a long time.
Right.
You remember Adam Hawk from back in the day in South Bend? Yeah, he did a lot of your acoustic shows.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of came in contact with you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Mostly.
So I don't know if we did Illinois on that when I was playing bass, but I don't think we did anything.
No, you guys didn't come through because I never missed a show.
All right, cool.
That's for sure. But I was just an era and it was kind of a dark time. Kind of maybe because a couple people left not long after you got there.
A dark time would be putting it very gently. It was bad. I'm not telling tales outside of school now because these stories are out there and they've been told. But I've never done a drug in my life. I've never smoked weed. I don't do anything. And I remember I would get in my bunk and I would go to sleep and I'd put my hand underneath my pillow and I'd feel like this big foil ball. And I put my hand on my other pillow for another one. And basically I realized the two massive drug addicts in the band were hiding drugs from each other in my bunk.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it wasn't great. And, I'd go to bed at like 4 a.m. and they're in the back and just like talking in a circle. Mm-hmm. And I'd get up at like 11 a.m. to go pee, and like they're still having the same conversation. I was like, this is why I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just a dark time. And honestly, I think if the band would have kept going how we were going at the time, we wouldn't be a band anymore. I know that for a fact.
Well, I'm glad there was a turn because, man, look at the great songs that have happened since then.
Absolutely.
My gosh.
It needed to happen, and we wish the other dudes well, man.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun in those days.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of not fun too.
I do remember when Eric Bass joined the band, and he's not just a great bass player and keyboard player and singer. He also is good at turning the knobs in the studio, producing and mixing and all that stuff. That had to be a blessing, him coming into your life.
Oh, it was. I mean, we did. I don't even know if we've publicly talked about this. We did like rehearsal, like tryouts in Orlando, and we would work on a bass. We wanted it to be 2-guitar band because when Jason left, it was me and Jason on guitar, so we had 2 guitars and it sounded full. So we would try out a guitar player and a bass player. Guitar player, bass player. Guitar player in the morning, bass player in the afternoon. That's how we did it. And then it's like third to last, maybe, Eric walks in. I had never met Eric. Brent had met Eric because they had written together briefly. Eric walks in with a guitar and a bass. And I was like, oh, this hasn't happened yet. And I always joke to this day, the biggest mistake he ever did was opening that bass case first. Because he's a guitar player. He's a better guitar player than I am.
Really?
Yeah, he won't. He'll say he's not, but I think he is.
I figured he was a multi-instrumentalist because to produce a band, you got to know.
But he's a guitar player first.
Really?
And I think he's an amazing guitar player. But I always say his biggest regret was not opening the guitar case first because he could have been the other guitar player in Shinedown. We had to find. But, it worked out. And I think that even after Nick was in the band, right, like, and I still talk to Nick a lot, like, but the band was always supposed to be the 4 people that it is right now.
Yeah.
That was fate, or whatever you want to call it. That was what needed to happen for this band. And so, yeah, Eric coming in and then I find out, well, he's a producer too, and he owns his own studio. So, we do these next kind of 3 records. We do Madness, we do Amaryllis, and we do Threat, which, by the way, today's the 17th anniversary of Amaryllis, something. 15th?
Wow.
13th, 2015, yeah. So, and then we go get to Attention, and Eric had already produced Cut the Cord, and he produced Diamond Eyes, and it was like, well, how do he just doesn't do the whole record?
Yeah,
and that's how I got started, and so now he does the whole record, and they did Attention, he did Planet, and he's doing this one till he pulls all his hair out and loses his mind. We got him almost there.
He's really good.
He's great. He's a great producer. 13th anniversary of
I always pull him aside and we talk gear and stuff. I think up at the casino we were talking about what if you could go on a desert island, what would be your plug-in?
Oh, dude. He'll talk about gear all day. Like he's so nerdy when it comes to that stuff. And I know nothing about recording. Yeah. Like I know what I want it to sound like, but dude, I don't know what preamp does. Like he knows all of that stuff. He's got so much analog gear in that studio.
Oh, that's good to hear. And the record sounds so good. And the stuff he does with Brent's vocals, man, I listen to the effects and even the guitars, man. You guys get a lot of unique sounds. It's not just the straight guitar amp anymore.
It is? We're not just stacking guitar on guitar on guitar. I think since Threat to Survival, we kind of took this less is more approach. And it's like, usually it's like a left and a right, maybe one down the middle.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty simple. And like Eric is really like guitar tones are Eric's thing. And me too. I love guitar tones. So we take our time on that. And so, but sometimes what you do is, we make our demos. I think a lot of people don't realize sound like a record. Like if we could master our demos and it would sound better than stuff that I hear on the radio sometimes. But sometimes you can't beat the demo. I remember on Planet Zero, on the song Planet Zero, I think it's basically the demo guitar. Like we could not beat the demo guitar. It's just what it is. And a lot of the times, a lot of the vocals you hear are the demo vocal. We just do it right the first time, and like you can't beat it.
Well, when you capture that feeling, sometimes it happens the first time it comes out,
Yeah, I mean that's I think when you're writing a song and you had just written it, that's how it happens. You know what I mean?
My guess is that now you've been in Shinedown all these years. You've picked up a few guitars along the way.
I have.
What are a couple of your favorites?
I got a 65 Gibson 335 that I love. I mean, I got some old Les Pauls that I don't really talk about that are pretty great, and some other things, and so. Yeah, I got a lot, some old Cool Martins, 59 D18.
Oh wow,
a 51 Nocaster, and a couple. I got about 230 guitars. So
you got a couple.
A lot. Yeah, I got a couple.
But is there one or two guitars that you like? That's the one the magic comes from. That every time you grab it, oh, that's a cool riff, or man, I can write lyrics to that. Or is that just more of a state of emotion that you have to be in?
That's kind of you got to be.
You grab the closest one.
Yeah, you got to be in the mood to do. It's really a lot of stuff gets written on acoustic for sure.
Mm-hmm. You told me years ago that you were a big Garth Brooks fan.
I am.
And you've been to how many shows?
23 now. I just saw him in Vegas a couple months ago.
Oh, wow, you went again. That's awesome. But you told me once that you actually gave him a guitar, and then he not only accepted it, but he came out and played it.
He still plays it.
No kidding.
Yeah, he plays it on. If he plays electric on Call in Baton Rouge, usually that's the guitar he's playing. And then he gave me one of his that night too, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that had to be a joy being full circle.
Oh my God. Even every time I go see him, still to this day, we went to see him in December. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was just crazy. It was like he came after the show, comes backstage, 45 minutes, just sits and talks to me. And just me and him in a room.
That's fantastic.
Because that's like, Garth may be not the reason I play guitar, but he's definitely the reason I wanted to be in a band. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that kind of gets me to this. I know Jelly Roll had already established himself as a country rap artist, but it seems like that when you guys brought him out to sit in that time on Simple Man, that kind of opened the rock gates for him just before his single dropped.
I think so.
And it really did. And there's just this huge connection. And do you have a connection with Jelly prior to all this?
Yeah, I've known Jelly. We're both from Tennessee.
Yeah,
so I knew Jelly. He was a rapper. He'd come up with Little White and all the 3 6 Mafia guys. So like I would see him around all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. He's always been cool, and then pre-prison, and it's like then he comes out and he's a singer now, and like all these things. And I saw him. I hadn't seen him in forever, and we saw him at Blue Ridge when we asked him to get up on Simple Man, and then after that it was like crazy.
Dude, I saw him way back in the hardcore rap days, believe it or not, in South Bend.
Oh, wow.
He was out touring, and, I used to do a local show that was in prime time. I do it on Fridays, the last half hour of the show. That way I could pimp all the bands. Something that's not happen very often. Local bands getting that kind of slot. And all these people says, man, you got to come hear this country rapper. And I'm like going, what the heck? So the next time he came, I actually went and saw the show because I goes, that's a lot of people to come at me.
Yeah.
And when I saw the guy, I'm like going, he has the gift. Like similar to Brent.
Yeah.
When he gets on the mic, it's not even just the singing, it's the connection and talking to the audience. And I goes, wow, this guy, man, he's got something. Look at all these people, and the place was jam-packed. The first time there were like 50 people. The next time it's packed. So it's a huge connection.
He's just a star, man. When that guy walks into a room, he's a star. Mm-hmm. Like you can feel it. You like one of those things where like I don't know who this guy is, but he's somebody. Josie from Saliva is always the same way to me. Yeah. Josie used to be a bouncer at a strip club when I was younger, and you'd see him, and you're like, this guy's somebody. Like he's got to be somebody. Like you just have that feeling. People like that have that aura, man. Where that's just how
you
they
just
are.
know. You just kind of. That's what I felt like. I goes, God, and then years later, all of a sudden, he's filling up stadiums. I'm going, dude, I saw him in a bar that only holds 150 people. Yeah. But he still had that same thing, that connection.
Yeah.
Now, with the rock and country thing going on and stuff, and you having, a country background as well, as far as some of your favorites and everything, how do you feel about how all that's going? It just seems to be, I thought back when Zach Brown had Chris Cornell, I thought it'd be kind of a one and done.
Yeah. And
I know Kid Rock did the One Picture song too that kind of crossed over. Nickelback had something, but I didn't really think it was going to be like it is today with Hardy and Jelly Roll and collaborations. And
it's insane, man. Like,
and I think you guys even have Morgan Wade out with you. And
yeah, we've got Morgan Wade out this summer and all year. She'll be here with us, and she'll be out with us in the summer. It's good, man. I think everything kind of derives from country. Any kind of music. That was kind of the first. Blues and jazz are kind of the first music, and then like country was like that was the next thing to come. So it's like I think for me, like I think everything kind of comes from that. So I think those worlds just combine. And like most country guys that I know that aren't total purists want to be rock stars. You look at Hardy, you look at Morgan Wallen, those dudes are rock stars. They're straight up rock stars. Even somebody like Zach Bryan, who doesn't get played on the radio at all, is selling out
Michigan Stadium. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to see that. I don't know. You know, it's insane to me. I love it though.
Well, is there a collaboration that you could maybe see Shinedown involved in at some point?
I would love to do something with like Hardy or Morgan Wallen or somebody like that. Or maybe we get Morgan Wade up with us on stage or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
I have a poster signed by you guys, and it was back when Nick Perry was in the band. You'd mentioned that you still keep in contact with him. People don't remember, he was in a band called Silvertide, and I thought you guys sounded great together, but why did he take off so quickly? It seemed like it was a short time.
Yeah, it was 5 months, I think he was in the band. It just, you know what? Some things fit and some things don't. Sometimes you're trying to shove a square peg into a round hole. Mm-hmm. And I think on both parties, he didn't feel comfortable. We didn't necessarily feel comfortable. And it just wasn't the right fit. He was a great dude. He's a great guy. But I mean, one of the best. I've known Nick since I was 14, 15. Oh, wow. So yeah, insane player. Yeah. And I just think I think Nick is where he needs to be now, which is fronting his own band and doing his own thing. I think it took him a long time to figure out that's what he needed. I think he wanted to be the right hand guy and the side guy like Silvertide and Perry Farrell and all the gigs he had. But I think him doing his own thing is what he needed to be doing for sure.
Well, you've been with Shinedown the last 4 albums, soon to be 5, and you've played songs from all 8 records. And is there a song that you just get fired up for when you see it on the list? Is there this you can't wait to get to that one? Or is that hard to pick from all your children, basically?
It's hard. I mean, Cut the Cord rips usually live, sound lit rips. But what we're talking about, I don't even know if we were on the air before, but we're talking about Monsters. Like that one for me. That one hits pretty hard. I get pretty emotional during that one. So that's a big one.
Well, you guys sound great. I've been to every tour since you've been in the band.
Thank you very much.
Minus that one time where you were playing bass and you were still playing guitar with Jason. Yeah. Somehow I did not see that because I've been pretty much on every album cycle. And it's been a great run. But I tell you guys have something going on with the writing and going to the writing and stuff. And I know every song happens differently and how you put them together. But say you've got ideas and you guys get that call where you're all talking. What's day one like when you guys sit in a room and you go, okay, it's time to start talking about this new record we're going to do? And what is that first moment like when you guys come together?
That's really not how it happens. I mean, we kind of start talking about it on the road for the last record. And when do we want to start writing? Like, when do we want to, And so that's kind of where it starts. And then when we get together, it's like sometimes it'll start with just Brent and Eric. Sometimes it'll start with just me and Brent. Sometimes it'll start with me, Brent, and Eric with the writing, or our friend Dave Bassett, who we've written a lot with.
Yeah.
It really depends. It's different every time. I think I knew this record, the only thing we really talked about is we didn't want to make a concept record.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Is any light at the end of the tunnel as far as knowing when it might be done and ready?
This year.
Okay.
That's the only thing my singer's going around saying it's 80% done. And I'm like, 65. We're working on it.
Okay. Is Dance Kid Dance going to be the title, or are you just calling the tour that for now?
Someone told me that someone said Dance Kid Dance was the title on the radio the other day.
Yeah.
As far as I know right now, the album is currently untitled.
That's what I thought, but I just...
It does not have a title.
Sometimes a single comes out, a tour comes out, they just...
I don't think it's called Dance Kid Dance, but I don't know. Unless I missed a meeting or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. I was checking out some tour dates, and I saw that, I know you guys are coming here on the 28th, but I also saw that you're going to be at Madison Square Garden. Is this the first time for you guys?
Yeah, first time. Yeah. Excited.
That got to be cool.
Flying my kids in.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good time. A lot of my family's coming.
Because a lot of the iconic venues are no longer here. We used to have Cobo Hall in Detroit and Joe Louis Arena, and they're gone. And that's where I went and saw everybody, back in the day.
And, of course, I'm really looking forward to that. Like that's gonna be a cool one for me. Like I'm very much looking forward to it for sure.
Is there another venue or maybe a country or a city or a town that you just like, man, I cannot wait to get there every time?
Honestly, I love playing in Michigan. Crowds are, I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I said it when I was in another state the other day. I love playing in Michigan, Tennessee, my home state. Yeah. I love being there. Texas is always fun. Florida's always fun.
Yeah, Michigan crowds. I've been to a lot of shows in other places, and boy, sometimes I don't think you can beat the Michigan audience.
Absolutely.
That's for sure, man.
For sure.
Here and Detroit and even the Flint area and stuff too. I think you guys were up in Bay City or Saginaw a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we did. I don't remember
you
where.
You kicked off that tour, because you guys kicked it off at that the DuPont Center or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That was
you guys rehearsed
the tour. Yeah, we rehearsed there for a couple of days. I remember that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I remember that now.
Zach, you guys are coming here on the 28th. You've got another record coming out, 2 great songs on the radio. Is there anything else you want to add to all this before I cut you loose?
Thank you for supporting our band. Thank you for listening to our music. I'm glad it means as much to people as they tell us it does. And yeah, man, thank you guys, because we are a radio band. We built this entire thing on radio. So that means a lot to us.
Well, I appreciate that, because I've been there since the very first single.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
And I hope to be there for
Let's go.
10 or 20 number ones.
20 more.
All right. Well, Zach, thank you so much for taking the time.